Hello fans, and welcome to this week's edition of the Tiger Women's Basketball Report. I'm your host, Ben Rosenbaum. The Tigers, a win and a loss this past week, is always joined by the head coach of the Tigers, Laura Harper, and coach another split weekend, but up and down performance, and a lot of good takeaways though, and a really great off the court weekend as well. We'll get to that in a moment.
Of course, I am tired of splitting weekends, but I will say that it's always better to at least get 1 out of 2 than 0 out of 2. Looking forward to hopefully getting a few 2 out of 2 weekends with a few remaining.
Before we get to any of the games, before the first game tipped off against William & Mary at shoot-around on Friday, we had an opportunity to see a great surprise for Tilly Sjukvist. Her mom coming in and surprising her from Sweden. Just talk about that, and what was that like for you to be a part of?
I just have a really close affinity to international student athletes playing overseas and just understanding what it's like to come to a country with no familial support. And our group has really stepped up. So having that opportunity, surprising Tilly in that way, seeing her reaction, her mom she said she's never experienced anything quite like that. So it's bigger than basketball. Those are the moments that we remember.
Absolutely, and getting to the basketball, first game up, William & Mary, two very similar teams. What was that like for you going through the scout and getting ready for them? You kind of look at them, similar record coming in, they're another team who's struggling to score the ball, they got to play defense. What were your thoughts going into that game?
I have the utmost respect for Erin and what she does with her program and how her players are always ready to play. I felt it was a good, solid matchup for us. I think, as Mason has been coming along lately, it was a good matchup for her defensively, too. I knew it would be. I felt like that was a very winnable game as it showed, and I think there'll be some adjustments as I know we are their next game next Sunday.
Yeah, 7 lead changes, both teams shooting 32% from the floor. It was as even could get. You did out-rebound them, and I think probably the one thing for you that probably gives you a little fits when you look at it, Towson 6 of 13 from the foul line, obviously in a 1-point game, that stings, and then 17 turnovers to their 9. Just take us through that. First of all, the foul shooting. It's kind of been an enigma all year. You guys shoot well from beyond the arc at times. You see all these really good shooters, but then the foul line has just kind of been this adventure for a handful of Tigers.
Yeah, we've been working on it. I think it's just been a level of consistency that we haven't been able to find, but missing 7 versus William & Mary, 11 versus Elon, and I want to say we got it down a little bit the game after that, but that's where you win games, and we just have to continue to have confidence to knock them down.
One bright spot, though, Tilly and Zoli both 5 assists in that game each. We've talked about Zoli's scoring ability. We've talked ad nauseum about Tilly's ability to facilitate. Zoli, though, she has a good playmaking ability, and we're seeing more of that from her when she realizes her shot's not falling.
Absolutely. The versatility and the size and the length. She can score, she can pass, she can defend. So it's nice when she's able to get things going, and just whatever we need for us to be successful is always willing to do.
And then fast forward to Sunday, Senior Day as well. I know Senior Day is a tough day for coaches. It's for so many different reasons. Obviously going through the ceremony and then dealing with the emotions of it, and then you still got a game to play. But a good win for the Tigers, 63-55 over Northeastern. And one of your seniors, Mason Marchbanks, you alluded to it a moment ago. She's really coming on, 11 points for her. Talk about Mason, because this is really the first a lot of us are getting to see Mason actually play basketball.
Yeah, her journey has been challenging, just the injury bug. And I have seen a lot of Mason through film and even here. And, like I said, she was cleared the second week of December, which is a really, really hard time. You're going into Christmas. How do you really get into a flow? We already have our rotations, but she's been having amazing practices. And I said, you know what? We're going to mix some things up.
She was one of 3 Tigers in double digits that day. India Johnson also with 11 points. But then Vicky Matulovic is a freshman on Senior Day. 14 points, 4 steals, 6 rebounds. I mean, she came off the bench and she just, pedaled down right away.
She wreaked havoc, honestly. And I think seeing her active in every play, rebounding, diving on the floor, getting to the rim, shooting the 3, she really is an X factor offensively, because she's a hard guard to really check.
How contagious is that for a team when you see someone like Vicky come off the bench? We see her throughout the games, every game, but she comes off, she's diving for loose balls, she's getting her hands on passes, she's knocking down threes, she's driving to the rim. I mean, she does it all. That has to be contagious, you hope.
It is, and it just brings really good energy. I felt like our pace was better. We were getting some more transition points, which we don't typically get as many. That was nice. I think Tilly got a layup. Mason, everyone's just moving. Indy, and it starts with the energy that Vicky brings.
All right, looking ahead to this week, heading on the road down to Virginia. First Friday at Hampton at 7 o'clock. Hampton 9-14 on the year. That Pirate team struggling. They are led, though, by Kayla Luzuma, who's the 5th best scorer in the CAA. What do you see from her? What challenges does she bring?
Well, first, Hampton's a really hard place to play. Their pressure, their traps is something that we've always struggled and had challenges. But as far as Kayla Luzuma is concerned, her size and what she's able to do with the basketball, she's a 3-level scorer. She defends hard. I mean, she has a knack for scoring the basketball. And I think we just have to make sure that we can contain or make things difficult.
Offensively, what do you guys have to do against Hampton? And it has to be frustrating, too, because a lot of the looks you get, they're good looks. You're getting the looks you want. Joe Matthews says it, like, no fault in the shots they're taking at times, but they're just not getting them to go down.
What do we have to do not turn the ball over? I think it's quite simple. We can't turn the ball over at the rate that we're turning it over, and we need to make free throws.
And then Sunday, you'll play William and Mary again after just playing them just recently this past Friday. That's obviously an interesting scheduling spot on your schedule, but what's the challenges to that of seeing a team, but that also has to make it kind of easy because you know what you're going to get and you just saw them?
You know, I mean, and like I said, for them coming off a bye, they've only played Elon, and they're back to playing us again. Ultimately, though, it's fresh on our minds. It's a game that we can guard them. They can guard us. So players have to play. Competitors have to step up and make plays. So it should be a really good one. As we get towards,
we're starting to inch closer and closer to the end of the season. How important are all these games down the stretch? Obviously, everything. You want to win every single one you get out there, but do you start peeking at what potential seeding might look like?
I know that there's a log jam in the middle there.
Yeah.
I know Charleston is well away from everyone. I'm curious how many more they have to win to just take soul. But yes, I think after this week, we will probably start looking more than anything, but we just have to focus on getting one win at a time.
Well, Coach, thanks for joining us this weekend. Good luck down in Virginia.
Appreciate you.
All right, the Tigers on the road this weekend. You can follow them along on TowsonTigers.com. For the head coach, Laura Harper, I'm Ben Rosenbaum. Thanks for joining us. And as always, go Tigers.
Go Tigers.